Just yoga.
Oh, okay. All right. Just saying hi real quick. I know we saw each other, I think it was last month. I'm gonna be out of the office for a little bit, all right? I'm taking some vacation, so I'm gonna be out till like November, like middle of November. Nobody should be bugging me next month, okay? That's why I'm seeing you a little bit early.
Who's my next caseworker or whatever?
You don't have a next one. You're still going to be assigned to me. I'm still going to have my phone on me, but I'm not going to be checking it too often. I'm going to probably be checking it like every other week. So,
Well, I've got some business trips. I have to go to Florida in November.
I got you.
Who would I approve that through?
Trabuco.
Trabuco, huh?
Trabuco's going to cover your case. Do you still have his number, or do you want me to text it to you?
I think I still got it. I thought he was removed.
No, he's still around.
He and Cook were like pretty rapidly removed.
Well, I mean, they might have been moved from like the assignment, but they
No, they put in a bogus report about me saying all this bad stuff that wasn't corroborated by evidence.
well,
And my defense attorney threatened to cross-examine them, and they yanked their report, and we heard nothing more about it. And then they were off my case like a week or two later.
my hope is that nothing comes up, but I mean, if you have any travel trips, then just ask Trabuco, and then it's just hopefully they'll get approved. But
Okay, so you're in a hurry, but real quick question. When we talked last,
Mhm.
you, I mentioned that her son is, I said he's an ex-Marine. He's working late nights. He's just, trying to sleep in, and Cook waking him up is not cool, basically.
yeah, I remember.
I mean, did I only mention him being a Marine once, or how many times did I talk about him being a Marine to you?
I can't recall, maybe once.
I mean, did I say anything like that in a way that you would find threatening, that he's an ex-Marine? Because I thought I just dropped it in the conversation early on.
Yes and no.
Why
So
would you find
this
that the fact that he's an ex-Marine threatening?
not the fact that he's an ex-Marine, all right? I mean, you saw me last time. When I was here, right? Not in the video, but I took a seat. I'm like, I'm just talking, right? And the way you worded it,
How did I word it?
the way you worded it, and you got the video, so you can check it out. But it was like, just so you know, they know how the previous officers have treated me, and I'm paraphrasing because it was something like this, but and they don't like federal agents or something like that.
I said I don't like federal agents.
Yeah, something like that, right? Something along those lines. And then you said, just so you know, something like you're not welcome in the home or something like that. Like, you can come in, you have the authority to come in, but just so you know, they don't like you, basically.
Did I just say that one time?
Yeah, I think it was the last time. Why?
So the last time we talked in our conversation, I just said that one time, according to you.
Yeah, I think so.
And I said that like when we were talking in the beginning.
Yeah.
So you think that I said it in a way to imply a threat?
I mean, I didn't really like fully take it that way, but I mean, you could see how that might sound like kind of threatening, you know?
Well, people aren't going to have a problem with you or your job if you do it conscientiously with integrity, and you don't make false statements, and you don't like misrepresent conversations, or you don't put like false reports to DC concerning me. Because when that happens, people think, already, if there's questions about the way, law enforcement is handling business, and then there's provable falsehoods, it makes people very apprehensive of individuals that conduct themselves in that manner. And I was just trying to relay to you that there is a bad feeling. It left a bad taste in their mouth here because they were well aware of some things that Trabuco and Cook were doing that were not actually like legitimate. And so I was just giving you a heads up that if you want to understand feedback from the public, if you want to understand where people's mindset is, it's not a mindset of they're going to do you harm or aggression. It's not a mindset of that. It's a mindset of apprehension and concern, because if a person with a gun and authority is making false statements, that in itself defies the preordained structure of God. And ultimately, we as citizens, even though our government supposedly is representative of us, we actually have to give all these things to God. because you answer to God. You don't answer to the public. You don't answer to, you answer to your superiors, but ultimately your superiors and you answer to God. So in the stewardship role that you've been given, if you are not going to do it with integrity, that'll be between you and God. And so that's a warning too, but that's not a threat. I don't want you to take that as in, a threat or something like that, in your report to DC or whatever. But I thought I was very reasonable in the things I said to you, because any rational person would be concerned about a federal officer that makes false statements. And that's just a given. You would be crazy not to be concerned. It's a sign of being sane to be concerned about things that are like corrupt, dishonest. That's how a functionally normal society works. And so, as I recall, like in that conversation, I think I mentioned to you about, he's an ex-Marine. He's just, he's been out of the service. He's working late nights. He's just trying to sleep in. He doesn't need someone outside his door yelling, "Who's in this room? Who sleeps here? Whose room is this?" And then like maybe 7 minutes later, I said something to the effect, you're not welcome here. You're allowed to come in, but these people, they think that there's demon energy, basically, because Satan is the father of lies. So if someone is lying, they're acting like their father, the devil. They're not acting like a child of God. And so that's basically the gist of what I was saying. You could say I'm a religious zealot. I'm a man of faith, and you know what? God has me in his hand, and I'm not concerned. So however you want to spin it or put it or tell it or retell it, that's on you, and that's between you and God. And I'm just telling you. So I don't think I made a threat. That has me concerned.
Well, I tried. That's why we've had some good talks since then, and that's why I really didn't bring it up. If we were to talk again with like Mahasi and all that, I was going to bring it just like, hey, like, just how like when I say something, right, and I don't mean it to sound a certain way, but you take it a certain way, that's kind of like the situation where you said something and I kind of took it that way, but I didn't want to turn it into anything bigger at the time or even since then, and that's why I'm like, kind of yes and no, but it didn't, that's it. It didn't go anywhere, so that's why I'm like, that's just how I perceive it.
Because your partner told me, he's like, "What's this I hear about there's a Marine veteran that doesn't like federal officers?" And I was like, "What?"
Joy?
Yeah. And he's like, what's going on? And I said, "I don't know what you're talking about." I had no idea. That blindsided me. That blindsided me.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
You could just check out the tape,
What
check
tape?
out the video.
What video?
Check it out. Well, didn't you record the last session?
Did you record the last session?
No, I didn't. I never recorded.
Oh, you talking about with Mahasti?
No, out here.
Oh. What makes you think I recorded the last session?
Just got the phone right there.
Is that what makes you think that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's unreasonable, which is fine, but if you did, check it out. And that's just so you can hear kind of like the way it sounded,
Sure. Have you heard the video that you're talking about?
No. This is all just from my recollection,
Yeah.
This is what I'm telling you. But like I said, I didn't want to turn it into anything bigger, So, if I was really like worried, I wouldn't be out here by myself, So.
Well, I know, between you and me, I know you're not. I don't think you're worried about me. But I think the story you're telling to DC maybe is giving them what they want to hear.
No, I told them that, like, after we met here, I told them, hey, the housing situation settled, so.
Well, I'm just letting you know, like, you guys, if you play these games, you're going to make me not welcome here. And that was what I was trying to convey to you last time. When Officer Cook kept her mouth shut and kept quiet, and then as soon as she got outside of my bedroom, and then she went outside the bedroom of the son who lives here and started raising her voice very obnoxiously and yelling and pointing to the door and saying, "What room is this?" Loud. "Whose room is this? What room is this?" And she started doing that. I said, I made my voice go the opposite. "Please don't wake him up." And I backed away from her saying, please don't wake him up. He's sleeping. And she's like, "Mr. Sergente," and started raising louder. "I need to know what room this is." And I said, "Come talk to me in the kitchen." And I backed all the way up toward the kitchen. And then she just stormed out. And then she wrote a report that I was heaving my chest, enraged, and clenching and opening and closing my hands, and like breathing heavily. and it was like it was surreal. And my defense attorney was just laughing. She said, "Wait till I get them on the witness stand." But then you know what? They backed off, and that's what happens sometimes with a bully. When you show them that you can't be pushed around like that, with because that's an assault, really. When she makes those statements like me, she's being abusive. She's defaming me. She's bearing false witness. That's a commandment from God, the 10 Commandments. When she does that, she's attacking me. And she's got all the power. So she's bullying me. And when you bully somebody, it takes a certain kind of character to be a bully. And bullies are cowards. And cowards ultimately meet their just desserts. And in her case, she backed down. She looked like a fool. She wrote this big scathing report and then had to do a 180 and take it back. And that's what happens. That's just poetic justice or karma, or you reap what you sow, which is what I believe. You reap what you sow. And, God knows whatever she's gone through in her life to make her be like that. And God has the appropriate degree of mercy or wrath awaiting her in judgment. And so I just give her to God. And I'm just saying, I don't mean her any ill will. I have no intentions, whatever you want to say, threatening intentions or anything toward her or you or Trabuco. But I'm just reaffirming that God is watching. And that's a sermon. I'm ministering to you right now. Okay?
That's all I wanted to let you know about Trabuco. Reach out to him. I can still text you his number.
So Trabuco is the one who's in charge of approving my travel plans.
Yeah, he's going to approve the travel plans. I'm going to let Joy know as well.
Who's your superior?
Sue Miracle.
Sue Miracle.
I believe you've spoken to her before, because in reviewing the notes, it might have been before Trabuco, but I think she covered your case for a little bit as well.
Sue Miracle, okay. Yeah, I have talked to her.
Yeah. So, but Trabuco will handle, any travel requests. I gave him a call, heads up.
Because my last defense attorney told me that she put in a complaint on Trabuco in regard to me. I don't know if that's true, but I mean, wouldn't that present a conflict of interest? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you run into any complaints, you could hit up his supervisor,
Which is Sue Miracle. So I mean, like, if you put in a complaint or she puts in a complaint or something and the complaint just goes in the trash or just gets unaddressed, what would you say is the next, I mean, you're a law enforcement type person. What would you say is the next step? Like, would it be like maybe a federal civil rights lawsuit?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know?
No, I've never gotten any complaints against me.
Huh.
Believe it or not.
No, I believe it. I know there's people that are auditors and they go to the police station and ask for a complaint form, and sometimes they get arrested just for asking for a complaint form.
Oh, wow.
And so that's like a thing. And so there's a big movement called auditors, where First Amendment auditors, where they have a First Amendment right to basically go into public areas and do these things. And so I mean, a lot of people don't get complaints. I've seen like a lot of things happen that like, people say, "Oh, you'd be surprised," but I've never this and that. And it's like, well, if the system's rigged that no complaints make it ever to the appropriate desk,
Yeah.
That's how
I'm
that
sure
works.
there is I mean, I could look into it, and see if there's like a form or whatever that would need to fill out, because you'd think that we'd have to have some type of process.
You would
for
think
it,
so, but I mean, if the process, even that could even be included in a federal civil rights lawsuit,
Yeah,
for violating civil rights.
I think ultimately we work for the judges, right? And I think ultimately it goes up. A complaint would go all the way up to the chief judge, and then I think he has the local chief judge, and he would have the ultimate, decision.
So the original judge in Santa Ana that I went to.
Well, I don't know if that was the chief judge, but like the main chief judge. So this is the boss of all the judges, basically, and they do a term. I think it's like every 4 years, and it switches every 4 years.
Okay.
But I think because just in my vague memory here recalling, I remember reading something about like any complaints would ultimately end up, I mean, I think it would have to go through like obviously through the supervisor first, and then maybe the supervisor, then the chief, and then if it's still not resolved, I think it eventually goes to the chief judge, if they still consider it unresolved, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole reason I had that conversation with you last time is I kind of felt like it was unresolved. And that's why I had that conversation with you. And I talked to you, and in passing, I mentioned he's an ex-Marine, he's this, he's that, just very nonchalantly. And then later on, I said, you know, you're not really welcome here. They don't like you, but you're allowed to come in. I mean, you can come in right now if you want. You have the authority, and I'm not going to say you're not allowed to go in there. But I'm just telling you, you know, like, you reap what you sow. And when you or your companions or coworkers conduct a certain way, it reflects poorly on each and every one of you. Just like if there's a bad cop, and everybody then starts saying, F the police, and they just categorize all police in one category because of the actions of one cop. And so it's just a natural, I'm just giving you a natural, logical, like, determination people make when they see something that doesn't sit well with them.
Yeah. No, I'm seeing what you're saying, and I'm seeing where you're coming from and all that. But you know, it's like the same thing. You know, like, I hope you can see where I was coming from, and like, oh yeah, that sounds a little like, you know. So
I honestly don't.
Okay.
I don't.
That's okay. I mean, we don't have to agree on everything.
Yeah, no, I know, I get it. But I mean,
I'm not taking it like it's not going anywhere further.
I only mentioned he was a Marine one time in that conversation, so I don't know what I mean, it wasn't like I was harping on it or anything. You know? I mean, I didn't say it more than once. Do you recall me saying it more than once? There we go.
That's what I'm saying. Like, let's just, you know, leave it there.
All right.
But yeah.
I got a sunburn the last time we were
I know,
we were
talking
talking
for a while. Me too. I'm like starting to burn. I'm starting to bake here.
All right, well, I'm going to jump in the hot shower because
all right. After that the yoga.
yeah.
All right. Well, take care of yourself. I'll see you hopefully in November.
God willing.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's promised to no man.
That's true.
And that's not a threat either. That's just scripture.
No, that is, and I got a lot of driving, so hopefully.
All right. Take care.